Camp Hacker, bringing your world into focus.
Welcome to Camp Code, a podcast brought to you by Camp Hacker. This podcast is dedicated to what many camp professionals believe to be the most important time at camp, no matter what you call it, staff training, orientation, or leadership training. This critical time period prepares your staff to fulfill all the promises that you make to parents and customers throughout the rest of the year. My name is Ruby Compton. I'm the Summer Camp Program Director at Green River Preserve in Western North Carolina. We're a summer camp that's focused on connecting children with nature, and we are housed on a 3,400-acre private wildlife preserve. All that being said, I still love using technology and staff training, and am excited to share this topic with you today. Also super thrilled about our co-host and would like to introduce her. So Gab, take it away.
Well, my name is Gabrielle Rail, and I'm one of the camp directors at Camp Woro. Camp Woro is an all-girls camp where we focus on positive girl community as well as the language program. And I'm also very excited about our topic today because it's about videos for training. And those are super, super helpful.
Excellent. So as Gab said, today we want to do a presentation for you all about video clips. So our topic today is use this video clip, and we're going to do it quick-fire style. So we're going to give you lots of videos to see and to check out, and we're going to be posting links of all of these into our show notes, so you can click right from there to find those. And we're finding with our decreasing attention spans of our staff and with the various learning styles that videos are a fantastic way to engage your learners. They can exaggerate a problem, start a discussion, show the best case or maybe worst case scenario, and you have the capability to rewind, fast forward, pause, or slow down. And what's awesome is that so much of this content is free and available on the internet very easily. So we want to start off first talking about some videos and clips that are out there that are specifically designed for staff training for summer camp staff. So Gab's going to share about the first one.
Well, this one, a lot of camps are using expert online training, and it's really for staff members. It's all set in a camp setting, very specific. You don't need to make the transitions and now in a camp setting we would do this. It's actually done for camp counselors, and it's everything from home lonely campers to intimidation to meeting parents. Great instructions, and if you need some staff members to catch up on some of the training because maybe they're missing a little bit from your actual staff training, they can do it from home.
Excellent. And what's great about expert online training is while it's not free, it's a much smaller cost than it would cost you to bring in somebody like Chris Thurber or Scott Arizala, who are featured in these videos. So it's a fantastic resource. It's one that we've been using for several years, and I cannot recommend it enough. A couple other videos that I want to put out there, because in the camping industry we're talking a lot about nature and getting children connected with nature and unplugging kids. And so there's two really great documentaries that are out there that I use clips from every year. One of them is put together by, I believe it's University of Michigan, and it's a documentary called Where Do the Children Play? And one of the things that's really neat about this documentary is it gives a great glimpse of our kids at home. I think we tend to forget, I know I do, that our kids have lives outside of camp. And so there are some fantastic clips in this entire documentary about where are children playing outside. What is it that they are doing with their free time? What's taking them away from being outside, and what are those effects, and what is that looking like? When this video was shown to me, it was actually shown by Bob Ditter in a session, and the thing that he pointed out about it was there's this really incredible clip where this kid is talking about how much he loves working at the computer, and he's showing all the signs of an addict. And I mean, he's just really displaying a lot of those behaviors that you see from addicts. And what an amazing and impactful visual that this is for our staff to help them see this is why we need to get our kids out in nature. So that's a great one. There's also a film that's out called Play Again, which takes children and puts them kind of in this very small group, and they're out in the woods. I believe it's out in the Northwest, and they're learning primitive skills. So they make bows and arrows and use like marshmallows on the end of them and shoot them at each other and have a big rivalry. It's really encouraging kids to be out in the woods and having some of that unstructured time, but also teaching them some of those primitive skills that we've lost. So both of those are great when you're wanting to look at talking about why it is important for our kids to be connected with nature, and maybe some of the strategies for doing so. So next up, we want to move on to favorite YouTube clips. I don't know about you, but I always seem to end up, when I meet a new group of people, we end up talking about, have you seen this YouTube clip? And then we sit around and watch it. So that being said, bring your staff into staff training, make them feel real comfortable, because I'm sure they're doing that too, by showing them a bunch of clips that you can find on YouTube. So these are going to span from movies to other just fun clips, viral videos that are out there. So the first one that I really love is a clip from the movie Meatballs, starring Bill Murray. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. And early on, if you search for "We Want Gossip," there's a great clip where you have all the kids in the dining hall chanting, "We want gossip! We want gossip!" And as we all know as camp directors, as soon as the kids start chanting, it's hard to not give in. So one of the kids gets up and just starts regaling everybody in the dining hall about which counselor's with whom and all those sorts of things, and the big dramas and breakup. Great jumping off point for a discussion about how maybe you don't want that to happen at camp and how to keep your private lives private.
Comedy is very helpful.
Yeah.
The education of meatballs. So one of my video clips is a TED Talk video clip by Andrew Solomon, and it's called "Love No Matter What." And Love No Matter What is really about diversity and love. And if you're trying to create a safe queer environment, this is a great video. He talks about growing up as a young gay man, finding his partner and finding acceptance in the world, including the acceptance of his own mother. And he does it brilliantly, and he also does it in a great comedic way. And I think it's a really nice way of talking about what kind of language can we use at camp that will try to create a safe, diverse environment for our campers and for our staff members. And it's powerful, and I think it also it helps with sometimes these type of conversations we don't know how to approach. So I really like it, and it's also funny. So that's a great bonus to this video.
Cool. So my number three is, our number three is a clip from Wet Hot American Summer. There's not a lot in that movie that accurately portrays camp, but one of my favorite scenes of all time is one with Paul Rudd and Janine Garofalo. Janine Garofalo is the camp director. She comes in, and Paul Rudd is not at staff meeting, and he's also knocked his plate and cup down on the ground. Janine Garofalo says, "Hey, you going to pick that up?" And Paul Rudd then proceeds to act like it is the most impossible task of all time, and just sighing and and looking at her and dragging his feet, and just so exaggerated. And it's a great clip especially for your leadership team. That's a lot of times where I'll show it for, don't be this person, but also understand that sometimes you may have to interact with this person, and what are you going to do in that situation? It's hilarious, beautifully acted, and a lot of fun.
Nice. Number 3 on our list is a First Follower YouTube video that the whole title is First Follower Leadership Dancing Guy. And basically it's a video clip where there's at a summer concert, there's one guy that's dancing, and his dancing skills are very much not convention, doesn't follow the cool convention norms. And but then there's another guy that goes and starts dancing with him, and all of a sudden now, instead of just one dude just doing whatever, there's now 2 guys that are dancing. And sure enough, before you know it, there's a 3rd guy. And when the 3rd guy comes, it locks it in as "this is awesome." And then the whole crowd just starts dancing like crazy little people. And it's a wonderful talk about doing the right thing. You can talk about, sometimes you look like that odd person out when you try to do the right thing, but who do you need to help support that? And the importance of the first follower, and when you see somebody else doing the right thing, to support them. And we talk about how difficult it is and how to create that safe environment to support doing the right thing. And it's also a wonderful video, and it's not very long either.
Cool. So my next video is one that was introduced to me at the ACA National Conference in 2014, and it's about your online presence. So it's a video by Jack Vale. He does kind of online pranks, that sort of thing, and it's called Social Media Experiment. Basically what he does is he uses an app to pick up all of the tweets and Instagram posts, Facebook posts that are closest to him. And then he walked up to those folks and told them, complete stranger, walked up to them and told them things that they had posted online. And so he would walk up to somebody and be like, "Oh, hey, are you Shelly? Yeah, you have a white dog, don't you? Isn't her name Paris? Is that right?" And the people are just sitting there like, "Oh, who are you? You're so creepy. I can't believe you know all this stuff about me." And they're just totally like mind blown, like, why are you bothering me with this? And it really drives home the point that what you're putting on the internet is public. Consider those privacy settings, and even then, probably not private enough. And my staff last year, when I showed it to them for the first time, their reaction was, "I can't believe they're so silly, and those people just don't even understand that it's public." But then, we hold up the mirror and say, right, but these are things that we're seeing on your profile pages.
Right.
So it's a brilliant demonstration of it and a great jumping off point for that discussion.
And I think also what's wonderful about that is if you do have a staff member that really understands privacy policies and is up to date with social media as it's ever changing, and they're constantly changing their policies, and they can add a little bit, this, if your settings on this, it does not mean that it's private, and sort of show a little education bit at the end, because I know that a lot of our staff members actually don't know how to protect themselves, and they don't know some of this information. So perhaps having that one staff member that's good at that aspect would be cool.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, I think number 5. I love this one. So Ken Robinson, he's a professor, and he does a talk on TED Talk called "School Kills Creativity," and I think that's just an inflammatory title to because I don't totally believe that, but I think it's just to draw attention. But he talks about how school really, only caters to the right side of the brain, and not below the head, meaning the heart, the body, and not to the left side of the brain, and or the other side. See, I don't know sides, but I'm saying just one part of your brain. And he does this example of, if you ever watch a bunch of academics dancing, a lot of the times they're not very connected to the rest of themselves. And but what's a great talking point on this is that school is important. It does serve a very important purpose in our society of information and knowledge. But what does camp do to fill in these other parts that campers aren't getting? And he talks about school doesn't necessarily teach the sense of community and support and understanding and tolerance. So how do we do that at camp? And we discuss that kind of, have really nice discussions about how can, on the first day, create this sense of learning, this important learning that's not necessarily received at school. So it's also a wonderful talk on TED Talks.
Cool. I think we could probably do a whole podcast on TED Talks, so maybe that'll be something we'll do in the future, because I know there's so many great ones.
Well, I think that's, well, you're right on that, and I think that Ruby, for a lot of people, that sometimes there's certain issues that camps are, it's specific to their camps, and they're not quite sure where to get the information. I do think that TED Talks is a wonderful place to just go and search if you're having issues with, I don't know what, sunflowers. They're everywhere, but I'm sure there's a TED Talk about sunflowers. So it is a really great resource. Sometimes it's just maybe not the most popular ones, so you haven't come across them. But just searching it in TED Talks really is useful.
Cool, super. So my next video is one entitled 35. It's a short film made by Arc'teryx, who's an outdoor company, and it's about, 4 or 5 minutes long, and it's really just a video about embracing the moment. So it tells the story of this guy who turned 35. He wanted to do 35 climbs on his 35th birthday, but then also provides this great narration of reflections on life. One of my favorite clips in the video is he talks about being in the car and being next to the person who's just jamming out so hardcore in the car next to him, and that's totally me. So I love that, and it's a really great one to re-energize your staff, to help them, take pleasure in the small, beautiful moments that are around us every day. Be grateful for them, and it's a short one that I think can have a lot of impact, packs a lot of punch.
Nice. I'll follow with that one, which is Jessica's affirmation. And I would say most camp people know this video, but it's just such a good one that I thought we'll throw it in as well. Anyways, it's basically a little girl, I think she's probably about 3 or 4, and she's looking at herself in the mirror, and she's talking about all the things that she's so happy about, and her body is really expressing it as well. So she's like, I love my house, I love my mom, and she also says that she's like the best person in the world. She's just feeling it, and it's a wonderful, wonderful video to get your staff just happy, just to make people feel good. They can watch this video. But as a training tool, we talk about what makes us stop, saying what we're proud. What makes us, what's inside of us, what's the environment outside that says, like, I'm proud of myself, or I love that I did this, or that you feel good about yourself and you can't shout it at the top of your voice. And when do we want to start doing this and start practicing during staff training before campers get there? And I think it's a great, you can do so much with this video. If anything, just watching it is wonderful.
It'll make your day better. No doubt about it.
Yeah, start with this.
Super. So I often start my my behavior management discussion with this video. Well, typically I actually start my behavior management discussion with the cha-cha slide, and then followed up with like another kind of line dancing, follow the instructions song. And then I will often show this video, and it's Double Dream Hands. If you search for that on YouTube, you should find it. We'll also have the link posted in our show notes. But it's this guy who has written these songs and gone on YouTube and created dances that he tells you exactly what to do. So you follow along in the video, and you're hearing this silly music that you're dancing along to. And I've tried this several different times, and you just put it on the screen, and kind of that first follower, you get enough people just start doing it, and everybody's doing it, and they have no idea what they're doing. They're just following the instructions. And I usually use this to talk about how, first of all, that if every instruction was in song, I think people would just blindly follow them. So if you're having issues with your kids not following instructions, try putting it in a song, because it's just more fun. I don't know why. It's more fun to follow instructions when they're given to you in a song and when you're doing them with a bunch of other people. But it also can be a fun if you want to do a flash mob, something kind of like that. Real easy way to do it, because it easy moves. You can just follow the video. I know it was first brought to me by a director who saw it done at a camp conference, where all the people who were organizing the conference on the conference committee just stood up and started doing this video, and the video is playing, and everybody's like, what is going on, But again, talking about how to set up clear instructions, how to set up your staff and your campers for success. Lots of ways you can go with this. And it's a lot of fun. And I actually had this summer, about halfway through the summer, my staff were like, hey, can we do that video with the guy in the yellow shirt and the double dream hands? And I was like, yeah, we can do that for sure. So I recommend it. There's also a great follow-up video to watch him and the whole crew of the Ellen Show do that video. This was kind of a phenomenon for a little while. So yeah, check it out.
That's great. And when you get staff members asking about the videos or talking about the videos, I think, they have such, there's a buy-in, and you want to kind of roll with that. That's why we're using the videos. And we don't, Ruby and I are giving a fairly solid list of videos, and we know that there's so many others out there. And I think it's like anything, you want to use it when it's appropriate, and you don't want to overuse it. You don't want to have it for every single session to have videos, but they do add this conversation piece, and they do come if it's set up right. So I love that your staff member came and it's like, let's do this. It's wicked. So for my last one, Aimee Mullins is an Olympic athlete, and she also is missing the bottom half of both of her legs, and she's a motivational speaker, and she does this talk on TED Talks about the opportunity of adversity, and really it's the challenges that we all face, so whether that we are physically disabled or we just have our own struggles, but the different adversities and what opportunities come with that, and it's to look at these type of situations in our own personal experiences, and how do we help our campers rise through the occasion. And she does it in such an elegant way, and she also puts herself quite out there and talks about a little bit how she's such a successful individual, but how difficult things have been for her, but at the same time how much she's been celebrated and how helpful that has been for her. So it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful video for diversity. It's great for physical disabilities, and it's again a wonderful TED Talk.
Cool, thanks. So my next one is a video that I incorporate into my conflict resolution talk. I always equip my staff with a framework for how to have hard discussions. We have a couple acronyms that I teach them, and just acknowledging that you're going to have these conversations that are awkward and uncomfortable. That's something that Scott Arizala does a great talk about, that you just have to acknowledge, like, this is not going to be fun, it's not going to be comfortable, but we have to have it. And there is a video that's a compilation video of the 10 most awkward moments on TV from some given year. And it is really uncomfortable. Like, there are some hilarious moments. There are moments where you feel a lot of secondhand embarrassment for the people in the video, and you suffer through it, but it's also entertaining. And when the video ends, I always say to my staff, these people all continued on, like their lives didn't end right after this moment. Their moment was televised, So I'm asking you to have to kind of suffer through some awkward moments sometimes this summer, but you're going to get through it. There is a light on the other end of the tunnel. So just keep going, get through it, and it's going to get better. And that video provides a good reminder of, it really will be okay. And at least you weren't that person. And my last clip that I want to encourage you to check out is actually not just one clip, but it's an organization in New York City called Improv Everywhere. And what they do is they create all these videos about just creating moments, special moments, and there's so many great ones, and I like to sprinkle their videos throughout, just to talking about looking around at the ordinary things around you and making it special, making it magical. A couple of my favorite videos of theirs. One, they do an art show in a subway. So in a subway station, they have walked around and put little cards next to very normal things. So the card will say, like, railing, established in 1987, whatever. And so you see all those little cards all around, woman sitting on bench. And then they had a bunch of people come in and walk around in really nice outfits, tuxedos and ball gowns, and they're walking around with like sparkling grape juice. And so people are getting off the subway going, what is going on, And again, that looking around at what's ordinary and making it something special. Another one that I love that they've done is it's around the holidays, and it's a guy who's ringing the Salvation Army bell, and so he's just standing there ringing that bell, and then this entire handbell choir comes and joins him and plays this beautiful song, and then just walks away, And we have so many great opportunities at camp to create moments like that, and there really is the opportunity for Improv Everywhere and creating art and magic that I want my staff to see that happen. They're doing it in New York City. We can do it here at camp. So it's a great channel. You can probably watch it for hours. I could also do a whole podcast about Improv Everywhere and how fantastic they are and some of the moments they create. But another day. For now, just go check them out on YouTube. So any other thoughts that you wanted to add, Gab?
Oh, I just loved what you're just talking about with the improv bits, and I think that I think that those spontaneous type of ideas are just just exciting. It is what adds magic to camp, and when you do have staff members that come to you and have these ideas, I love that opportunity if you have the chance to sort of get to work with them a little bit on it and help develop those ideas. So no, this is for me. I love videos. It's the best way that I learn personally, and also, I think the last thing is that I try to use these not just in the summer, but throughout the summer. So whenever we have our staff meetings, make sure that we have at least one video a week that we show our staff. And sometimes they're serious discussions, and sometimes they're just hilarious, and we just have a good laugh. But try to incorporate videos throughout your summer, and I think you'll get some great attention, great ideas that come out of it.
Cool. And I'm sure that we've missed some of your favorite videos, and we'd love to hear about them. So you can tweet about them, put them on Facebook, whatever your social media of choice is, use that hashtag camp code. We'd love to hear about that. Put that in the comments of the show notes of this podcast, and share those resources with one another, because I know you all have great ideas and great videos that you've tried that work well. Also using that hashtag camp code, we'd love to hear from you what topics you'd like for us to discuss, any guests that you recommend that we talk to, any great leadership training tips that you want to share with us, because we love hearing from you. We're all about sharing in this industry. It's what makes it so special. And we also want to ask that if you have found this podcast to be useful, to leave us a rating and review on iTunes. You can actually do that. We've created some quick links for you. So you can do that by going to camphacker.tv/cc_iTunes, or you can tweet your love with a pre-made tweet at camphacker.tv/campcodelove. And we really appreciate you giving us those shout outs and leaving the feedback, because it helps keep our show going. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to let you know how to get in touch with us. So Gab, how can folks get in contact with you?
Well, they can follow me on Twitter at Gabrielle Rail, and Rail has 2 L's. Check out where I work at waro.com, and you can contact me through email at gabs@waro.com.
Super. And yeah. I am available via email at ruby, R-U-B-Y, at greenriverpreserve.org. Also on Twitter, RubyLynn85, and on Instagram, Ruby Outdoors. So for our next podcast, we are going to be discussing staff training themes, from the simple one-word theme to the all-out theme that involves costumes and set changes. We're going to be talking about some of the best themes that we've seen and some of the tricks for making them happen, because it's all about execution when you're talking about a theme. So our final segment on each of our podcasts is talking about a best practice from leadership training. And again, we'd love to hear some of your most memorable moments or most effective tips. You can tell us what they are, again, using that hashtag camp code. But this week's best practice goes right in line with our topic. When we talk about using video, sometimes it's just best to make your own, whether it's made ahead of time or is an assignment during a staff training session. Having staff members create videos connects them to the material that they're teaching. It also creates content that you can use for marketing on social media or in training in the future. As you all know, our staff members are increasingly tech savvy, and with the prevalence of GoPros, iPhones, and even your point-and-shoot cameras, the technology is readily available to make quality videos in a very short amount of time. This summer, one of the ways that I used video was I made a training orientation video that told the quick and dirty version of the guidelines and expectations for staff training and for the summer. So right away, our staff could sit down and hear no drinking on camp, be sure your car is parked in the right place. And it also featured me with a ridiculous dance break and hashtags scrolling across the bottom of the screen and a guest appearance by my pet rabbit. So the sky is really the limit. So if you encourage your staff to be creative, you may be becoming a viral video star in all the right ways as well. So thank you so much for listening, and we hope you will join us on the hashtag Camp Code.